Hey guys, it's Todd. Just get settled here and we'll get started here in a couple seconds. Got a pretty cool subject tonight and just some things to go over. So, all right. So, welcome to tonight's episode of Personal Development Hacks. Again, I'm Todd. My company is Project 9 Life, and we focus on helping you to do what inspires you. And with that said, I just want to kind of start with a thought, and that'll lead into the rest of kind of what we'll, talk about and stuff like that tonight. So, when you're talking about your life and your aspirations and your ambitions and your goals and that living the best life and stuff that you want, just listen to this and kind of, take it and digest it a little bit, but you have to make it happen. Shock everyone that and that's around you. Shock yourself. Go further than you ever thought that you could. Do more or gain whatever a certain level of relationships or fitness or build wealth or whatever it is, but shock yourself as well. The mission of these goals is personal. We always ask what your goals are, not what society's goal is for you or what your parents' goal is for you or anything like that. These are your goals and aspirations. They should and they better be very personal. Takes a lot to start over again, but you owe it to yourself just to bring everything and be everything that you've ever dreamed of. Every kid that's born in the world is born with just a blank slate. The world is all out in front of them, each and every person, and your experiences and your desire and that fire, that's what ultimately decides what you're going to do. But if you're headed on a path or you're on a path where you're living a recurring type of lifestyle where everything seems the same every day, be brave and change gears and do something different. Trust the magic of a new beginning. It's like a kid getting up on, someday, and every day they expect the unexpected. And when you start on a program like ours and you start making actual progress and you start feeling it, trust me when I say something is going to change with you. You're going to have more energy. You're going to have, for lack of a better term, like your aura is going to change, and you're going to have a different energy and confidence that you just bring to everything. And most importantly, you're going to want more. It's no longer going to be good enough what you initially set out to. Now it's going to be, okay, what's after that? And what's after that? And what's after that? It's amazing to watch and experience with people as they go through everything when they start to get to those levels, because they change as a person. They are now the new version of themselves, and gone is the head down and the just living in the status quo. And all of a sudden it's someone that's looking out for opportunities, and they're full of confidence, and they're always looking for what's next and what's bigger and what's better, because they've truly embraced living their best life, no matter what age it is that they started or where they were when they started. it's a new version of themselves, and they're creating it and getting there. So with that, trust whatever process you're going through. As long as you're making progress, things will take shape. It may take more time than what you initially thought or wanted to. It may manifest and change over time, or as things come up, or your desires or your inspiration. If, like, for me, my inspiration is my kids, and it has changed from when I first started, where basically my ambition and what I wanted to do was get healthy so that I didn't have to sit on the sidelines. I could join them and go play and go hike and go outdoors and do all this stuff, because I was getting in a shape that fitness was not a question anymore. I could do all the stuff. And while they still remain my inspiration, my goal is for them has changed, and yours will change too. It's important every time you get into, you've achieved success, no matter what your initial goal was. Go through the entire process, including asking yourself why it's important and what is your inspiration. It could land you in the same spot with the same answer, or it could be something completely different, but just keep asking why. It is a vitally important part of this process to make sure you understand not necessarily what you're doing, but why you're doing it. That's that fire that is never going out, that burns in everyone. So, all right. So just some points, some reminders. Maybe it's a light bulb moment. Maybe it's a reminder of something that you were told, or it's something that's brand new and something that you can resonate with and, incorporate into your new ambition or your new goal set or whatever it is. But keep in mind, we all have a choice to remodel ourselves. Who we are today does not dictate who we are tomorrow. If you're watching this and you decide, you know what, I'm going to do something different, I'm going to set up a time to, call Todd and just ask some questions and see if the program's right, congratulations. That's a huge first step. You've already made progress, and you're already starting to incorporate those changes. And if it's a complete remodel of yourself, man, that's awesome. Congrats. It just because you started down one path doesn't mean that you have to stay on that path. This isn't like a 100-meter dash where you're born here and it's a straight line to, the finish line. It's a cross-country race where you're going to go ups, downs, lefts, rights, and all over the place, and you got to make those corrections. And if it takes you kind of remodeling how you go about each day, each hour of each day, and down to, how you're starting the day with the first 5 minutes, how you're ending the day with the last 5 minutes, that's okay. You have everyone's permission and your right to remodel yourself. Don't stand on your resources. Use them correctly. So if let's say that you are with us and you've invested in yourself into a personal development, remember, we can't do push-ups for you. We can't just give you a check so that you now have wealth, or God knows I am not a marriage counselor. But the resource that I have and what I can do is lay out a very set plan. It's very simple, but it's not easy. It's simple to lay out. The hard work comes when you implement it and you start down that path, because you're going to be challenged. You're going to face adversity. You're going to face, some stuff that you're just like, am I doing the right thing? Just keep making progress, and utilize the resources that you've either invested in or learned from or whatever. But keep in mind, they're resources. They're not doing anything for you. I'm the last one to be like, okay, you want to get fit, go to a gym for 3 hours a day. That's not my plan. My plan is to get you to change from losing 10 pounds to getting fit. They may sound the same, but they are different, because that getting fit, that lasts year after year after year. Getting fit, staying active. Whereas if you're like, I want to lose 10 pounds, like, what's the next year's goal? If you lose the 10 pounds, or if you don't, let's say that, it's March 10th and you're like, too much stuff is going on. This is not my year. So you're like, I'll get to it next year. Well, you better get comfortable rewriting your resolution for not losing 10 pounds, but losing 15 or 20, because that's the way that it's going to go. Whereas if you're focused on a fitness, weight loss, I understand it comes with it, but every day that you're making even the slightest bit of progress, it's still progress. It's still moving forward. If it's raining, you can do something at home. If it's freezing cold out, there's gyms, there's other stuff. If you ski, you maybe not have to walk. You can count that as, hey, I was active. I worked my butt off skiing, or, whatever you're into for your hobby, as long as you're active. Okay. We are what we think and constantly consume. So what society tells us, our friends and family tell us, we consume through either the news or social media or whatever. Just keep in mind that you're going to evolve into what you're putting in and what you're being told. So if people are constantly like, hey, you live a pretty good life, you should just, good for you, just stay the course. If you're listening to that, that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to live your life, and you're going to have that sitting on your shoulder of, I live a good life, I should stay the course, instead of remodeling yourself and saying, yeah, my life is good, but I want more. I want better. I want different. So be careful what you're putting in or allowing in terms of advice from friends, or what you're seeing in society, or what they're telling you, or, your own thoughts, like what you're thinking. Just be cautious of it, because you're going to end up becoming whatever it is that you're consuming. Okay. Temporary pleasure leads to a lifetime of regret. If you are chasing the dollar for sake of chasing the dollar, you're going to live in regret, because eventually you're going to chase the dollar and it's going to be faster than you. Approach whatever you're doing with your inspiration, which is true to your heart. It's true to your soul. If you go through this honestly, ask the question 7 times at least, and truly figure out why all this that you're endeavoring on is important to you. And you keep that as your, just that's why you're doing everything. That's not a temporary pleasure. But, people that do it in any industry, It could be, say finance or banking or coaching or anything like that. But people that get into those things for money or status or, because the Joneses he's a junior vice president and I need to be a vice president just to, keep up or do one better. That's a temporary thing. And you're going to regret making life choices based on something that could only benefit you for a short time. Better to keep your plans to yourself. Most people in the world they'll use you. So if you're sharing everything out there, like what you're doing and why you're doing it, and you're telling them exactly what you're doing, people will take advantage and they'll use it. If they're one of those three types and they're that type that's trying to drag you back down, the more you share with them, the more they're going to start pulling on those levers to get you to lower your expectations, lower the new you that you're becoming, and keep you in the status quo with you live a good life, stay the course. So it's a personal goal. Keep your goals to yourself. Let your results speak. That's the best way I can say it is, if you keep what you're doing to yourself and you haven't seen someone in say 6 months or whatever, and you show up and you're thinner, you're more confident, you've got multiple streams of income, or your relationship with your spouse and kids is amazing, and you're living that best life, that all they're going to see is who you are right then. They're not going to have any idea the pain and the challenges and the work that you did to get to that point. All they know is that the result is here's this new you that is completely different than the person I saw 6 months ago. And just leave it at that. Just let your results speak and just be like, yeah, I put some work in, because that's exactly what you did. All right. The circle of life means leaving a legacy to pass along. So you want to leave future generations with something about the impact that you had on others, the memories that you created with your family, with your closest loved ones. That's a legacy. That's something that you got kids, and you left them with this impact of, look at all these people that I helped with whatever it was. Okay. Or, you went on vacations, and it doesn't have to be like far-flung places. It can just be first time fishing, first time camping, first time seeing a moose, a waterfall or something like that. It's a memory that you're creating with your loved ones, and they are going to turn around and want to do the same thing for their kids, obviously your grandkids. So it's just, you want every generation to kind of keep that up. So the more that you can expose them to on an activity, on a memory, on an impact side in your life, is going to pay dividends for generations to come, because your kids aren't going to know any better. They're just going to think, yeah, this is what life is all about. They're going to pass it on to their kids, and their kids will learn more stuff, and they'll be like, I'm going to take that and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And all of a sudden it all starts with you making a decision that you're going to take action instead of talking about it, and you change the trajectory of your life, and by in fact then your family's life, both now and future generations. Choices that were made in anger can't be undone. And so this goes back to, I know I've talked about it a couple different times, but if you are upset, and everyone gets this way from time to time, as much as we want to be in control of our emotions, that doesn't mean not having emotions. It just means if something does upset you or frustrate you, that you take a beat and you don't let that out. That's controlling your emotions. I'm not saying you shouldn't have them at all, but don't let, if you're frustrated or angry, don't let that lead to a reaction. Whereas you can take that second calmly and then offer a response. Because if someone says something that makes you angry and you immediately react, the situation is getting worse and worse, and everything's getting elevated and elevated. Whereas someone says something that frustrates you or angers you, you take a second and you respond, you're basically just pulling the air out of a scenario, because you're not playing this game. You're playing the look, I'm going to respond. It requires a response. Not everything does. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just be silent, and let someone, whatever, vent or get something off their chest. Because keep in mind that no response is a response, and it's a very powerful one. If someone wants to get you elevated and you don't even respond, that's your response. And it'll be seen, it'll be felt, and you just calmly remove yourself from the situation. That's a lot of times that's the best response. But by not responding, it doesn't mean you're backing down or shying away. It's actually you responding in a very powerful way. In the end, after we're all gone, we'll all go, but the words that we talk and say will last. It's just a fact. I mean, it's your words, it's your actions that remain long after we're all gone. But what we said, how we talked, the actions that backed up how we talked, those will remain. So if you are a reactionary person, if you're very demonstrative, if you're, the finger pointing type where you're saying, well, society says this, or the government, or, the wealthy people, or it's all a conspiracy or whatever, that view that you've portrayed as yourself, that lasts. Whereas if you take the opposite tact of reserved, you take ownership, you own your life and your family's life and what you do and don't do and what you say and don't say, that lasts. So we're, I don't know, just about halfway. So as always, guys, if any of this is resonating with you, my goal is obviously not to be on here and have however many people, 8,000 or whatever of you guys, and be like, okay, they got 100% of my message. But if something, my goal is that if something I've said or something has resonated with you, made you think, or made you take a look at yourself and decide that, what, a change, as long as you're taking action on it tomorrow, then I've done my part. It's just to, if I can get people thinking a little bit differently and taking action on it instead of talking about it, then I've done my part. But if you want to inquire about what we offer, how we offer it, just kind of what it looks like, just go to go.project9life.com, you guys, right there. And it's a free phone call. It's about 15-20 minutes on Zoom. Just want to kind of know where you've been, where you want to go, what's holding you up, and if we're a great fit, then how we can help you guys. We've had a lot of people come through the program that have made some serious strides in life, and some serious progress, and they've been able to repeat the same process. Like the next goal, they go through the same thing. The next goal, they go through the same thing. That's the beauty of it. It is a simple process, but it's not easy. That's the hard part that we leave to you. But because it's a simple process, and as long as you get the big concepts of kind of what the program entails, then you just repeat it and you go through the same steps. Like, ask yourself why. What's your goal? Ask why, figure out how, put your floor in there. Why not? Like, what's going to prevent it or what has prevented it? And then what's next, where you can identify. By this time, you're full of confidence. So you might have like 5 lists of, well, I've got my next 5, what's next? And if you want to tackle a couple at a time, that's great. If they're similar or if they're different enough or whatever, that you can, work on your fitness and, research like alternative income streams or revenue streams or whatever, awesome. Then you can go do that. No one's stopping you. So, all right. So now we're going to talk a little bit about some of the differences between energy takers and energy givers. If we all run into them on a daily basis, it's worthwhile to listen to kind of some of the traits and characteristics of both, and figure out where you sit on both sides of it. I have a story actually that goes along with this. So a couple days ago, I was in the grocery store in the self-checkout line, and like I was checking out here and there was another lady checking out right here. The guy that worked there came over and he knew her, something like that. I think they did know each other, but the conversation went something like, he walks up, says, hey, how's it going? She's like, it's great. I'm having a really great day. And he's like, well, that's good. And then she says, well, how was your day? And immediately he starts talking about everything that's wrong with his day. He starts talking about, there's not enough people. The cart kid didn't show up, and there's not enough people in the deli, and he's got to work an extra half hour, and on and on. And he just lets her have it in terms of everything that's wrong with his day. And I let it be, because I don't get into other people's business, but I just wanted to grab the guy and be like, man, she said she was having a great day. You realize that you just took her great day and dumped all of that stuff, that negativity, onto her day. And that's an energy taker, right? Like, he took a woman that says she's having a great day and immediately just starts talking about how bad his day is. And he could have been like, it's been a challenge, but I'm getting through. She doesn't need to know all these details. So take an examination of yourself, just with some of these points, and figure out which side of it you lay on. So as an energy taker, one of the traits is you will feel sorry for yourself. It's your situation, it's your society, it's your boss, it's your job, whatever. Okay. But if you look at yourself and you feel sorry for yourself for being in that situation, you're an energy taker, because you're going to take that positivity and think, well, that's them, but look at all the crap that I've had to deal with. Okay. If you're living on autopilot, you are an energy taker. I know it sounds counterintuitive that you're thinking, well, how am I taking any energy when I'm just cruising along? But you are. You're existing to exist. I'm not saying you're a drain or anything like that. You could be having a good life and a good career, and if you are, that's awesome. But if you desire for more, but your life is on autopilot, there is no harm, no shame, no fault in remodeling yourself. But that's an energy taker. If you're a people pleaser, you're an energy taker. Because let's face it, if you're trying to make every single person out there happy, you're basically taking all of that energy from them, because now everyone, they realize what you do. If that's your personality type, or if that's just how you feel that you need to exist, is everyone needs to be happy in your world. It's a falsity, and you're taking their energy because they know that you're a people pleaser, and they know that if they screwed up, but you make them feel okay and good about it, they don't feel good about it. They're like, they have this false sense, and now you've taken their energy and basically put it into this little happy box and said, here you go. That's not a gift. That's taking their energy. If you live in fear and doubt, that's an energy taker. If you're scared of decisions, if you doubt that it is the right decision, if you're, scared of what your boss will say, or your kids will say, or your spouse will say, or you doubt that you can achieve what that goal is that you wrote down, you're an energy taker. It's the most successful people in the world, and not just monetarily, just in life in general. They tend to be the quickest decision makers, whereas the people that fear a decision, doubt a decision, they're the ones that will be looking for a new vehicle for 2 months. They'll have everything laid out, all the pros and cons of each. They'll have consumer reports, and they'll ask, their 15 closest friends what they think, and they'll have all this data, and they still, when they finally make a decision, they will walk out of there, drive away, and go, I don't know if this was the right decision. Whereas the opposite of that, like having confidence, having no doubt, you're confident in yourself, you're not scared of what decision you're going to make, because you've made decisions in the past, and they haven't, some of them maybe not have gone all the way that you wanted to, but you know that you can course correct and adjust and make it work. they have that confidence. They don't have doubts. They don't have fear. They go to buy a car. They walk into one dealership. The guy shows them like one car, and they leave, and they don't for a second doubt if it was the right decision. It's just a fact. If you sit around, if you're just sitting all day, you're an energy taker. And that's a little bit of you're taking your own energy. So even if you're working in an office where you got to be in front of a computer, unless you're typing for 8 hours a day, take some time, get a longer extension cord on your phone or something, stand up, walk around a little bit. Just any kind of energy to just move a little bit is going to give you a lot of energy back. So at all costs, just avoid just sitting all day. Overthinking, you are an energy taker. Again, it goes back to the car decision, right? The more you think about it and the more comparisons you do, you are just overthinking a decision. I get it. You want to make sure that the budget's right and the car's right. And if you got kids, that the safety's right. I get that. But that does not take 2 months, and it does not take the consumer reports and the level of detail and number of people that you've now involved in this decision. Don't overthink it. Like, pick one that's going to meet all your requirements and go get it. Don't overthink it. Toxic people definitely are energy takers. Those people that are saying, well, you live a good life and you should just live the status quo, they're just taking that energy from you that you could use to elevate your life, to create a new level of you and another level and another level. But they take it from you because they offer you live a good life and you get a nice house and, just stay the course. Well, they're taking all the energy that you could be using to elevate your life, and they're not letting you utilize it. Resentment, obviously an energy taker. If you're looking at people that have success in whatever realm, they have a better relationship with their kids and their spouse, or they're living a dream or their best life where they work from home and you got to go to the office, and you see them out there mowing the lawn on a Wednesday, and you're getting in the car and going to the office. Or if they're just fit and you're not as fit, don't resent them for living their best life. It should actually do the opposite and say, you know what? It's out there for everybody. I'm going to go get mine. All right. Junk food, sugar, they're energy takers. Feels good for about an hour, but then you crash, and it's better to eat healthy, balanced foods than it is to eat junk food and fully fill your body full of sugar. I'm not saying that you shouldn't eat birthday cake when it's someone's birthday or have an occasional donut or something like that. Just don't make a habit of it. You're leveling up your life. Don't waste energy on stuff that's going to energize you for this much of your day. The news, let's face it, they get paid to put bad stuff on the news because it draws the most eyes. So if you're watching the news, watch the weather, watch sports. When they start getting into some of the commentary or what's going on in the world, it's going to be slanted, and it's going to be to what's going to draw the most attention, which is everything is horrible. So don't let that take your energy. Worrying Obviously that takes a lot of energy. And that one is like not just your mental energy, but physically. Because if you're constantly worrying, you're jittery, you can't eat, you're, constantly kind of, like you just had 8 cups of coffee. So it's going to work out. If you've done the right thing for the right reasons, it will work out. And then hate. There's no room in anyone's world for it. You can not like someone individually, or not get along with someone individually, but there's no reason to hate them. Just avoid them. If there's something that happened in the past, I mean, you could be the bigger person and say, hey, 10 years ago when this happened, I apologize because this is where I was and that's not where I am now. And if they say, I'll never forget it, okay, that's someone that you can safely say, I'm no longer going to associate with them in any extent. So, all right, enough energy takers. Let's go to the other side. Some positivity here with some energy givers. First one, action. I've said it before and I will continue to say it. Do not talk about what you're going to do. Just go do it. It doesn't matter what it is. Just when something inspires you or, you hear something or see something and it creates a spark, take action on it. Don't talk about, well, that's a great idea. And in 6 months after the new year, I'll be in a better spot because I'll have X, Y, and Z. And then, well, actually it's a warm weather thing. So I got to wait till spring because that's what's going to happen. If you want everything to be perfect before you take action, you're probably going to take action about 50 years from now. So if something is out there and you do a quick kind of bird's eye view, thumbs up, whatever test on it, and it's like, this is going to help me. It's going to help us, in one of those aspects, health, wealth, or relationships, take action. Don't wait, just take action. Exercise obviously is an energy giver. It's amazing how when you get into it, how much more you feel energized, not before your workout, but after it. And it's because not only is you're working your body out, but man, your brain, it just works differently when it's like you're focused on whatever exercise you're doing. Could be walking or lifting or playing sports or whatever. Your brain just engages differently, and some great either thoughts or ideas or whatever, they come when you're in the middle of exercise. And it's because your brain, those little neurons, they're connecting and more of them are. And all of a sudden it's like you think differently. So whatever you're doing, however much that you want to, if you haven't done anything in a while, it doesn't matter. Just do something. If you're relatively fit, but that's, high on your list of, things that you want to accomplish, well, then just, what I'm talking about with the brain working, but just do more, push yourself. Like, if you do 5 reps, can you do 6? If you do 6, can you do 7? You always want to be pushing as hard as you can when you're in that moment of making that effort. Let's see. Yeah, that's what it says. Sunlight is definitely an energy giver. I understand with, the sun and, sunburns and concerns about, all, melanoma and stuff like that. I get it. I understand it. But even if you're not in the direct sun, but you are just letting the light of the day, either through a window or you're under an awning and you're in the shade and everything else is outside, it is absolutely an energy giver. The sun gives us a lot more than just light and heat. So utilize it. Get out and take it in as much as possible. It's free. Okay. Consistency. That is definitely an energy giver. Being able to be consistent in your efforts and what you're doing, and repetitive and intentional, it'll give you all the energy in the world, because at 5:30 in the morning, you're waking up and you're out the door by 5:45, and you're going to walk for 3 miles, and you're going to come back. It's going to be an hour later, and you're going to shower. You're going to take 5 minutes to put yourself in a good mental state, and then you're going to get out the door. Okay. Humbleness. Yeah, that's definitely an energy giver, where it doesn't matter what you have, what you've achieved. If you just come off and you are just another person that can relate to basically anyone, and you're not, flaunting or throwing in the face of other people, like, well, I got this, or I got that, or there's this and there's that. Just stay humble to who you actually are. I think Steve Harvey said it. He said that, they say that money doesn't change people. He's like, it absolutely does. He says, but not in the way that a lot of people think. He says, if you were a jerk before you had money, when you get money, you just become a bigger jerk. If you were a decent person, a nice, down to earth person before you had money, you're going to be even nicer and more down to earth after you have money. So if it's wealth, if it's fitness, if it's whatever, don't let that impact how you act on a daily basis, because it will feel off to you. If you're just out and you're showing off, for lack of a better term, it will feel wrong. It'll feel off to you. Healthy habits. It's, if don't smoke, keep your drinking to a minimum, whatever, with friends, family, and don't just go tie one on. Whenever you get the chance, eat well. You can do something very simple. Just cut out carbs, cut out added sugars. And that's a huge battle, just in terms of eating healthy. What someone told me once, like, stay on the outside ring of the grocery store, because that's where all of your fruits and veggies and meat and stuff like that is. Everything that's like got all the chemicals and everything typically is in those middle aisles, or something that someone just came up with. It's like, oh, energy bar here. And then if you read it and you can't understand half of the ingredients on the back, that's probably not good. I mean, the ingredient in an apple is apple, right? Let's see. Positive mindset. There was, I can't remember who said it, but like, if you just take the first 5 minutes of your day and the last 5 minutes before you jump in bed and fall asleep, and just take that 10 minutes to yourself to not think about negativity, not think about like what happened at work or what you're going to expect from work the next day, but just think about like how lucky you are to be here, your family, your spouse, your friends, the life that you've currently got. Just be thankful for it and put yourself in a positive mindset, and then get some sleep. I know we've talked about it a lot, but get sleep. You will burn out if you're up 20 hours out of every 24. And you think it's because, well, it's work and I got to work and my working hard is going to lead me to greater success. No, it's not. It's just not. It's working smart will lead to greater success. So get your sleep. Living in the moment. That is an energy giver. So don't think about what could or what's on the horizon or tomorrow or next week. Be present and live in the moment that you currently are sitting. It's just don't put yourself anywhere than where you currently are. That way you're present, you're paying attention. If someone's talking to you, you're actually engaged in a conversation instead of looking at them and their lips are moving and all you can think is, I got a project that's due tomorrow. That does neither of you any good, because that person might be talking about something that is a great idea that you could either partner with them, or you could talk to them about it and see if there's a way that you can grow with them, because you might see something that they don't, but you'll never know if that's that person if you're not present and engaged in that moment. So live in the moment, be engaged, be present. An inner circle of winners. So if you're surrounding yourself with the people that are like, you got a good life, just, stay the course. If that's who you're surrounding yourself with, that's who you're going to be. Okay. No matter what you're trying to do, if you're surrounding yourself with all this element that is trying to pull you back down, it just makes breaking that cycle even more difficult. Whereas if you surround yourself and your closest confidence and people like that are true winners, like they're positive and they're supportive, and they've got ideas about all sorts of different stuff, and they talk about all sorts of different things, and they're engaged in a lot. Surround yourself with those people. They say if you want to be a millionaire, hang out with other millionaires. It's just a way the same thing. Surround yourself with people that, even if you're not there yet, you will be, and you want to put yourself in those situations, because again, you never know when either the person that you're talking to or the person that they know that isn't there is the person that you need to connect with, that could just take either your career or a side gig that you've got and just launch it, because someone really likes your idea. So hang out with people that, if you want to be a millionaire, find them, hang out with other millionaires, find out what they're talking about and what they're engaged in. You'll be a little bit surprised, because they will still have some of the same discussions that, your buddies that are telling you to stay the course will have. You're always going to find that element, but the ones that have achieved that level of success, we'll just call it success. I know that money isn't everything, but it does make life a little bit easier. But that have achieved that, it's not because their parents, not because they got lucky, they didn't win the Powerball. It's because they put themselves in a position, either through an idea that they've developed, a company that they've developed, early on realizing that you want to have like as many different income streams as possible. And I mean, what's better than having like one person pay you is having 5 people pay you. So they diversify, and that pays off. So, all right, guys. Well, we're about done for the evening. But listen, if you got to listen to it again, I understand. But the energy takers and the energy givers, I encourage you guys first to put yourself in each of those things that we talked about, and just kind of grade yourself. Are you a giver or are you a taker? And then as well, who are you surrounding yourself with? It's important to do your self-evaluation, and part of your self-evaluation is your friends. So have a good one, guys. We'll talk to you later. Thanks.